Yeah, there's that music again. Once again, that old 50s and 60s music. We take it up every now and then. Well, the Buddy Martin Show, which is tonight. Glad to be with you. Got a good show, and we're going to turn this music down. We've had quite an experience with technology lately. Those of you who followed us on our website, Get It Media, know that over the last 48 hours, we had a tumultuous time with all kinds of viruses and stuff. But I got to say, shout out to Brendan Martin. What a remarkable job he did of pulling this together. You know, if you deal with your TV provider, as I do, it goes down, has problems, usually a couple times a month. I got to spend 15 or 20 minutes of time on the air figuring out what to do about it. And it's every time it's aggravating. Well, sometimes technology does that to you. It will bite you in the behind. And that certainly has been the case with us in recent days. But we're back up and running, good as ever. And Brendan Martin didn't sleep for 2 nights, but kudos to him for what he did. And just that's who we are here. We kind of like make it up as we go along. And we appreciate you out there, folks, hanging with us. On the program tonight, we've got Tony Barnhart, Mr. College Football. Time to talk a little serious spring football, I think. We don't know much, but we did have our interview yesterday with John Sumrall. Hope you got to see it, fought through some of the technological problems, and I want to hear from you folks tonight about that. I was impressed, and Franz was too. He'll be on. Franz Beard will be along shortly. He's so wrapped up in that basketball, and who wouldn't be? Wow. Our basketball is really fun to cover and to be around to watch these days, right? Rob Brown from SEC Sidelines has agreed to join us tonight to talk a little bit about spring ball, maybe some basketball. We're going to try to keep a lot of the focus on football tonight because we got plenty of basketball to go around. And, of course, the big game, Florida plays at Lexington this weekend and Saturday to wrap up the regular season, then on to Nashville for the SEC tournament. And finally, Loren Meadows, Coach Loren Meadows. He's been a busy man lately. He's been a day job change, and he's vowed that he'll be joining us tonight to talk ball. He always does a good job with that. And then also, you know, and we're going to talk, what did we learn from our sit down with Coach Sumrall? We'll share our thoughts. As I mentioned, what struck me about Sumrall in this long-awaited interview, those who follow the program know I've had issues with Florida coaches the last 5 years for reasons I'm still not sure about, but I do. And I broke my string of 9 or 10 consecutive head coaches with sit-down. It's not that that matters to anybody because the last guy didn't want to take the time to do it, I guess. I don't know why. But thanks to the folks there now and the new director of football communications who made this possible, Scott Burns. And to John, we were able to do this. Franz and I had a nice talk with him. And as you'll find out, we'll talk more about this guy who, as I said in the tease, just doesn't seem interested in being a catchphrase. As I wrote, there are no tattoos of quote-unquote scared money on him. Well, that's one that will live in infamy. That one, I guess, along with probably my dog could play quarterback. Those are two of the most famous ones. Yeah, that was hard to top. My dog could play quarterback. So anyway, we're going to be joined shortly here by Tony Barnhart. And I want to kind of get a feel of what's happening around the league. I talked to Shane Matthews last week. It seemed to me like Lane Kiffin had been kind of quiet. He said, no, he hasn't. He said, he's been tweeting like crazy, been going here and there. I said, well, I'm not getting the tweets. And I've been following him a long time. And I went back to check it, and I still got him on my members there, and I don't know what's happening. So I guess he's kind of out of the picture, not of mind at this moment in time. And so, yeah, I haven't heard a lot about him. I haven't heard a lot of crocodile tears being shed about he's not being here. And I'm on record as saying, I'll repeat, I really like this guy, John Sumrall. And after this interview, even more so, we'll get a chance to share thoughts with Tony Barnhart about that. Also, we get a chance to talk to to Franz and Rob Brown and Loren Meadows, who's been out and about lately. So let me just take this moment while we're waiting on Tony to thank our advertisers here on the program. We don't do it enough, especially Meldon Law. You know the slogan, they won't back down. Ordinarily tonight we'd have Gators Hoopla, but Jeffrey is on the plane in Atlanta, headed up tomorrow to Lexington for the game. I think he's going to fly with the team. I'm not sure. So he's a big supporter, obviously, of Todd, and he and Todd are good friends. But I always want to say thank you to Meldon Law, to Titan MRI, and others who have been nice enough to support us. Also, the folks over at Spurrier's Grand Grill, who got a big night coming up here. Mark it down. I'll tell you about it tonight, a little later on. On March 30th, there are two big events at Spurrier's and fundraisers, and all the trophies will be there. By that I mean the guys who made the guys out front, and the trophies are real people. They'll all be together at this gala, and I'm told it's possible to have your video made of you catching a pass from Tim Tebow or Danny Werfel, or as Shane Matthews said, Coach Spurrier will probably hand his off. He won't be throwing it. Anyway, so I just want to say that thank you to them. Thank you to Freddie Weeby. By the way, if you have an interest in advertising on this show, and I get criticized all the time because I don't say this enough, and I'm sorry. I don't want to be making one crass commercial. Call Freddie and tell him you want to be a part of this, what we do here. You know what we do here. And we'd love to have you aboard. We've got all kind of packages. Mark this number down, 352-284-3733. That's 352-284-3733. He can find a spot for you at the right price on the Buddy Martin Show. So call Freddie and tell him you'd like to be a part of that. So, and also thanks to folks at Titan MRI, who will soon be in Ocala, hopefully. One more thing before we go back into the archives and get our material. Fran's book is awesome. He's getting a lot of run. A lot of people are talking about it out here in Panama City. And my friend over at the local Northwest Florida, ESPN Northwest Florida, has been talking about it and giving away copies. So we're going to have more ways for you to get in touch. If you want to get an autographed copy, mark it down. Go to spurriers.com/shop and tell them to send you a book today and the autograph, and they will do that. And then finally, this event I told you about, 3 Heismans, 2 events, 1 legendary day, March 30th, 2026. Legends Gala I always say Gala, it's Gala, I guess. At Spurrier's Grand Grill, first time ever in a public setting outside the Heisman Trophy ceremony in New York City. The 3 legends are coming together in Gainesville. So join Steve Spurrier, Danny Werfel, and Tim Tebow for the Legends Gala at Spurrier's Grand Grill, Monday, March 30th, 2026. There are 2 of them, one in the daytime and one at night. So more about that later. So as we wait for Tony, and I'm wondering whether we got Tony, if we gave him the right information for the link, because he might not have it. Let's see. Also, Florida basketball team is remarkable. We start talking about this stuff, and you start looking at the numbers. The guy that we're so impressed with, Alex Condon. I saw a bite today from my good buddy Shane Matthews, who I do a show with, as you know. And he, early in the year, every time Condon got the ball, he would shudder. If he ever shot a 3-point shot, he was apoplectic about it. Oh, no. Well, it's not his shot. Granted, it's not. And I know he's not as good at it, and he probably shouldn't shoot it, and he stopped shooting it. And he backed off of it and changed his game. And if you watch how they played the other night, where they changed the lineup for the first time. Condon is really stroking it. He is incredible. He has been. He scored 26 tonight. Every game he keeps getting better and better. And what a great time to have this happen, because as they go into the SEC tournament, That's what you want. And firing on all pistols. You got C.J. Ingram coming out of there on the bench and showing out. Brown looks like a potential star. Of course, we know all about Shinlu and my favorite guy, Tommy Hoff. Well, I sure hated that he didn't get his own night because he certainly deserves it. And the way the calendar worked out, well, he just didn't. He didn't get one. I feel bad about that, but he'll have his time. He's going to be a lottery choice. I'm pretty sure is what they tell me. We'll ask Franz more about that later. And I look forward to seeing this guy play. I loved watching that guy play. Thomas Alf was one of my, I got to say, one of my top 5 or 6 basketball players that I can ever remember at Florida. I guess it's because, number one, the way he plays and shares, the fact that he can create his own shots, that he is just absolutely wonderful to watch. And no wonder the UConn coach said, I love watching that guy play. I love watching him play too. And I'm glad he's on the side of the Gators. So, it's a fun team to watch. That's the thing about it. I think as we talk about tonight, we'll ask Franz more about that. Because they are so unselfish, because they share the ball so much, and because they set the other guy up so well, they just are fun to watch. That's how basketball used to be played. I hate to say it back in the day, but that's how it used to be played. And it's fun to watch that team. So anyway, we'll get to all that later. Let's go up now and see if we've got our friend Tony Barnhart on the line. He should be gathering the fourth here in just a moment. Haven't talked to Tony in a while, but a lot of basketball going on here. And heck, what the heck, nothing wrong with that. Let's see if we got our Mr. College Football is on the line. Hello, Tony.
Hello, buddy.
Yeah, we're just running our mouth here tonight. It's good to see you, my man. You're looking good, by the way. Semi-retirement is agreeing with you.
Well, I'm still at least a year away from honest to goodness using the R word. I've got my manuscript that's for the book that's due in about a month.
Has it got a name, by the way?
It's that up, and I'm right in the middle of all of this, buddy.
Yeah,
I'm going on my first Disney cruise.
Oh my gosh!
Cruise with the grandchildren.
Oh my gosh!
And that starts on Sunday, so the next few months are going to be busy.
It's tough to still being a sport writer, as Bill Peterson used to call us, and being a granddaddy and all that stuff, and getting all these great kudos on your big flap on your 50th anniversary. What a way to go out, brother! You ain't going out though. That's the only thing knowing you. You can't.
I'm still going to give speeches and do radio appearances.
Yeah, you ain't going
nowhere.
My
friend Buddy Martin calls.
Yeah, you ain't going nowhere.
Busy. I'm just not going to do the grind, Coach. That's what it's about.
I got you. I watched my favorite TV show from Sunday mornings, Reverend Stanley. You know him, of course, in Atlanta quite well. I've watched him for years, and he asked a question. He says, "When's the time to quit?"
Mm-hmm.
What age is old? And they talked about Jesus. Jesus didn't hang it up at 31 or 32 or whatever. Nope. And he knew what was going to happen to him. And I got thinking about it. And then he said, and I've heard it said before, that the majority of people do their best work after age 65. Now, why is that?
Because you don't give a rat's patoot anymore what people think.
That's true.
You're gonna do it your way, and your way may not be very good, but it's gonna be your way. I think that has a lot. Plus, it's like I always believe that you have grandchildren at a great time in your life, because at this point, whatever you're gonna do professionally, you've pretty much done, and so it's just it's an easier time whereas when we have our own children, we got our nose to the grindstone trying to make it into somebody. I think that has a lot to do with it.
For sure. And like my late wife, Johnny, used to say, the great thing about grandchildren is you can give them back.
That's right.
They are.
You can sugar them up and just give them back.
There you go. I want to talk some football. Franz Beard standing by. We're going to get him in here and talk a little bit today. We had an opportunity to talk with John Sumrall for the first time. And, you know how these things go today. It's hard to get with if you're not your Tony Barnhart. Some of these coaches for us guys are a little older, and with the geriatric set, and I don't know what happened with us and Billy Napier. We never connected. I'm not sure how much of it was my fault or him, or if it even matters anymore. But we had a really good opportunity to talk with John Sumrall for a good, Franz, 25 minutes? Is that what it was?
20 to 25 minutes, somewhere in between there. It was truly outstanding. It really was.
Good.
Yeah, and I thought we shared this with Tony tonight, and I want to get his feedback because he hears stuff. And I was going to get I had my thoughts about this, but I want to get yours. What did we learn about John Sumrall, Franz?
Well, the first thing we learned is he is truly all football, and he's very, very transparent. He's the kind of person, I think I said this last night, he's the kind of person that if you ask him a question, you're going to get his answer. Not maybe you don't ask him a question that you're not ready for the answer for, because you're going to get, if you don't like the answer you think you're going to get, then don't ask the question at all. Mm-hmm. And because he's going to give you a straight answer. And what a concept that is, because two of the last three coaches, Jim McElwain, who would probably tell you about his dog walk in the morning, and Billy Napier, who probably we wouldn't know anything about. Billy Napier would talk about stuff that would leave you going like this. But Dan Mullen would been there and at least would talk to you for 45 minutes on a press conference because he couldn't stop talking. But two of the last three coaches we've had, you couldn't get a straight answer out of. And you talk to this guy, he gives you a straight answer. And it's how he feels. And, I asked him the question about toughness, and he basically said, if you ain't tough, you ain't going to play for me. Mm-hmm. I like that.
They had to make the threshold of what they called a gauntlet. There'd be certain things they had to reach at, which was pretty tough. In fact, he went down and worked out and lifted with the offensive lineman. Kind of surprised they couldn't lift more. He was lifting with the offensive lineman. So he immediately set it on that. So among the things he was doing, getting stronger, he spent a week with them. And then the thing about him is that he get out there with you and sweat with you. He runs up and down the field. And he told us again, I said, you really weren't going to postpone or cancel spring football if they didn't run the gauntlet. And he says, oh, yes, I was. He said, I might not have canceled it because we need it, but I was going to postpone it. They had to earn the right to do that. Mm-hmm. That's right out of the book of Urban Meyer. And so generally speaking, I'll let Franz speak for himself. It was so refreshing to actually get a question answered. And that he would take the time to finally sit down. Look, he didn't do what the other guy did and others have done. Go in and get all the national media guys and kiss up to them and let the little people feed the trough of press conferences. He's going one-on-one with a bunch of Alec Peak. Wilbur was one of the first ones. Yeah. Gabby Mullen. And it's the influencers, Tony. You know that. You worked both on the national media and you worked on local. So I was just impressed. I'm not going to say how that will translate to wins, but you got a feeling something good's happening. Tony, are we crazy?
No, I don't think so at all. And I've always believed, I'm sure we've had this conversation, that when a new coach comes in, what he needs to do more than anything else, he doesn't need to go to ESPN. He needs to get on the same page with his local beat writers, because those are the people that you're going to deal with day in and day out. And most importantly, when the time comes and you, dear coach, need the benefit of the doubt, you'll get it, or you probably get. Whereas if you haven't put any deposits into the bank of credibility, then you're not going to get the benefit of the doubt when you need it. So we're all old beat writers. We all started that way.
Yeah, we are.
I'm real big on that.
Yeah, you're right, and I agree. I'm sure Franz says he can speak for himself, but here's what I remember, and I hate to go back like, oh, let me tell you that was the good old days. I don't mean that at all. I mean, there were some things that were better and things that weren't better in the good old days. But one distinct memory I have was my first game at Georgia Tech. Bobby Dodd was still a coach. Furman Bisher was in his heyday. When Furman Bisher walked into the locker room of Georgia Tech, he was as big a figure and as important as Bobby Dodd.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Bisher was one of my mentors. He was a guy I emulated when I was growing up, and I made this crazy decision that I was going to be a sports writer.
Mm-hmm.
My goal was to work for the Atlanta Journal-Constitution and work with and learn from Furman Bisher. That was my goal. And I'll give you a little, but I give you and Fran a little sneak peek on the book. I wrote an essay in the book about Kentucky, and the essay was not about the great players at Kentucky. The essay was that when I went in 1988, I went to the Georgia-Kentucky game, and Furman Bisher took me to Keeneland for the races and taught me how to bet on races and read a sheet to do that. That was my favorite memory at being at Kentucky.
Yeah, that was a great
I remember he would walk into a press box, always the tie perfect, you know. You couldn't be better dressed. Nobody in the press box was better dressed than Mr. Bisher. And it was like the Red Sea parted. That was how much respect he was given. The piece he wrote about his deceased son still makes me tear up. Just what a gifted writer, and who demanded such perfection from his writers, but he brought out the best in them in doing that.
I got to tell you these two. I didn't mean to get into this. These Bisher stories, they're classics, and somewhere they're going to be down. It was told me by Ed Pope and about Bill McGrotha. You guys remember that name?
Oh,
He came from Atlanta, went to Tallahassee, became a big FSU guy. But McGrotha was there when Ed Pope was working there, and Pope was running the desk on Saturday. Tony, you might not have been around when they started. They used to merge the staffs, and they have a guy sitting in the slot running it, and it was usually going to be. And a lot of times it was Ed Pope when he wasn't covering the game. But the story goes, and I asked him about this, and McGrotha told me this, and I asked Pope, and he said, well, but listen to this story. This is how stern it was there. First of all, I had a great staff of John Logue and all those people there. But the story he told was about Bisher had people covering everything. You know that. They covered Furman. They covered every game in the South. It was a great thing to get the Atlanta Journal-Constitution on Sunday.
Had to.
And it was just a must read. And McGrotha drew the short straw and was sent to Furman. And there were no planes he could get over there. So he took a little puddle jumper, and the plane crashed in the cornfield.
Oh, no.
Crashed, okay? And McGrotha crawled out of there, somehow got to the road, got to a payphone, and called the office. Of course, you didn't have cell phones those days. And he got Pope. He says, Edwin, it's me. It's McGrotha. It's 9 o'clock in the morning. You got a game. Well, how come you aren't there? He said, we crashed in the cornfield. You did what? Our plane crashed in a cornfield. Well, okay. You're walking around talking. Yeah. He says, I don't know if I can make the game. And Pope said, what the hell am I going to tell Bisher?
Classic.
All right. We can tell these old Star Wars stories. There's several more on Bisher. One of them is a classic about how he said he used to drive a kerosene truck for his dad when he was a kid. And he'd go on rainy days, he'd go meet with the veteran guys, and they at 5 o'clock and they have a beer somewhere in the parking lot. And he would go there and they would talk about dreams. And he talked about one day what they wanted to accomplish, until the old guy said, well, you know what? That's one day. I just hope I can make a decent salary. You know, I'd like to make $5,000 or $6,000 a year, you know, whatever. It says, and still I'm driving for it now. And he said, yeah. So what about you, Furman? He says, well, I'll tell you what. I'd like to go get me a job someday and maybe be a writer where I can make $10,000 a year. and they were chewing tobacco. And Fisher told the story. Went, by God, I guess you would. $10,000. Amazing. All right, guys, let's talk football. It's freeing. I don't know much about what Lane Kiffin's doing. I know he's been sending out tweets. I haven't been reading them. That, of course, is what we're talking about here in comparison with the guy we got. Tony, what do you hear about Kiffin?
About Kevin?
Lane Kiffin.
Oh, Lane. Okay. I think they're excited to have him there. It's going to be fascinating to see how it all pans out. LSU, because you guys didn't know this. LSU's got players. They've always had players. They had players last year, so I think they're going to be fine. Every game that Kiffin plays this year is going to be an event, and people watching closely. But it's going to be the usual suspects, and I think obviously everybody's keeping an eye on the Gators to see what they look like with Sumrall pulling the strings. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be an interesting season. Question is, can the SEC get back to winning the national championship?
Who ever thought we'd be saying this? 3 in a row.
3 in a row. That's right.
And then talking about all the other dominance of college football, 2-3. They're 0-3. And now I don't know what you're hearing. I guess is there a lot of good teams and not any great teams anymore, Tony, aren't there?
That's been the case for the last several years, particularly in the SEC. Last year, there were a lot of really good teams in the SEC. There was not a great team in the SEC.
I believe. I hate to get this. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
It's all right.
I believe Texas has the best chance to be a great team this year. I believe that from what I saw the last 3 times, I feel like Arch Manning this past year wasn't ready to be the Heisman favorite. This year, I think he is, and I think they've surrounded him with some players
and some coaches. 3 Florida coaches there now.
I think that's the case. Watching him play is going to be a lot of fun. And so I think he's there. And I've talked to a number of people. You don't get to talk to Arch very much. I'm still working on that, but you do get to talk to people who know. I talked to Archie, the elder. I talked to him last week. He and I were catching up on things, and I think they're going to be in pretty good shape. And we'll see.
I heard Archie's got a cane now. What a great story Archie is. He and his wife are just legends, and how wonderful that is to one of those SEC stories fans that will live forever. And Tony, I know you know him well, and I don't, but I just always admired him. I loved what he did, loved what he is as a player, the great story behind him, the family he has put together, and their passing academy. And where do you get 2 sons that won Super Bowls? Come on, man.
Think about this when you think about the Manning family. Obviously, Archie, the elder, was there 68, 69, and 70. I remember seeing him come to Athens in 1970. And so he had a tremendous career, even though he played on some horrible NFL teams, had a tremendous career. Peyton and Eli are both Hall of Famers, Super Bowl MVPs. And one of the things they have in common is that David Cutcliffe worked with both of them. He was the offensive coordinator at Tennessee. He was the head coach at Ole Miss with Eli. And what I come to find out this week from talking to a few people, one of them was David Cutcliffe, that David Cutcliffe has spent some time this summer working with Arch Manning.
Doesn't surprise me.
Okay. So
I love David Cutcliffe.
You got the David Cutcliffe influence.
Yeah.
All 4 of those quarterbacks, David Cutcliffe has influence on all 4 of those guys and has really played a role in what they've become.
Could do a lot worse, friends.
Oh, absolutely.
Coach.
What do you think about the hire of Will Muschamp? I thought that was probably the best assistant coach hire in the entire country this year.
Will Muschamp is a really good football coach. Now he did not have the success he had hoped for as a head coach. I get that, but it's kind of he's just a very good coach. I think is a very good hire. These guys who are, He's a tremendous defensive coach, always has been. I think that situation is going to work out well.
Anybody else on your radar you think that might be up there next year? I don't think Tennessee's going to be there. I don't think Ole Miss is going to be there. Texas certainly.
Well, hang on a
A&M.
second. Getting Trinidad Chambliss back, having him makes them they go from a top 15 team to a top 10, maybe a top 5 team.
So you think they're good? Huh?
He's
Okay.
that good. So
They got Lacey back too.
Yep.
Okay.
So,
I stand corrected. I take your word for it. We can't forget Texas A&M. I'll tell you what, it is hard for me, guys, to understand and remember all the changes in this big league we're in now with all these people. I mean, we all had baseball cards and memorized the batting averages of all the teams. We don't know the head coaches now at the SEC.
Nope.
It's hard to remember them. And never mind the roster. So we just watch them play and talk about them, right?
That's right. That's number 21. Number 21. Oh, number 21.
Yeah,
yes.
that's right. Well, coaches call them by numbers. Why can't we, right? So, but it's a great game. It's still a great conference, and it's going to be. If you think the SEC is dead, well, you better rethink that situation. They may not be dominant anymore, but and certainly in Big Ten can make a case for that. I don't. As the old saying, sun don't shine on the same dog's ass every day, right? So we'll see about that, how that comes. And I don't know if LSU is that team to be, although certainly they'll be in play. I'm not sure. I just think the other league has got easier wins. I mean, I didn't say Indiana who did. Nobody did. But I think maybe what we've seen is the top to bottom, the Big Ten just isn't that good. And unfortunately, being a 6 or 7 or 8 win team in the SEC gets you nothing.
No.
Tony, how is Georgia? Excuse me. Is Georgia dropping off? Have they flatlined? Do they still have it in them to go up?
They still have it in them to go up. I mean, all my Georgia friends, I love this. The last 2 years, they've come to me and they said, Tony, boy, we got this problem and that problem. I said, wait a minute. You won 11 games. You won the Southeastern Conference Championship again. And you made the college football playoffs again. And you're complaining about your head coach? Really? Listen,
he's only the best coach in football right now.
What everybody's going to have to learn, and this came up several times last year, 9-3 is a good season. And if you think it's not, then you're not paying attention. There's going to be a 9-3 team to make the playoffs this year.
Yeah, there might be. You're right.
This year. And everybody's going to have to adjust their view on what a good season is, and a good season is 9. A good season is 9-3. A 10-2 system is a very good, and an 11-win season, that's a great season.
It is. Well, let me just say this. Maybe we can't win national championships in football, but we sure can win them in basketball, okay? Maybe it's doing a heck of a job. I just got a note from a guy here online who said, is he the new Billy Donovan? I don't know if he's that, but certainly he's special, and Franz knows him pretty well. He's did a book up with him. And he's going to go get him to talk about it as well. Certainly, before I do that, I got to stop and pause and talk about Lou Holtz just a little bit, because we all kind of knew of him or a little bit. I was not one of those ones who was a super duper Lou Holtz fan, and it might have been influenced by my friend John Finneran, who covered Notre Dame and just detested him when he was there. I don't know. I didn't know Lou that well, but I know what he did. I know he was the number one speaker at the Washington Bureau of Speakers for all those, number one. And he did some amazing tricks. And Terry Bradshaw was number 2. And he told me this. He got the top dollar. And who knows how much he made, millions, speaking. And he knew how to address people, how to talk, and he had some terrific. I think my favorite Lou Holtz quote is, don't tell people your problems. 90% of the people don't care, and the other 10% of the people are glad you got them.
That's right.
Do you know, I got 2 stories about him that I love. And one of them is when I'm covering North Carolina State, and he was there as the head coach, and he'd do magic tricks for us.
Yeah,
the paper trick.
After practice, he would do magic tricks for us. And then we came that close to him being the head coach at the University of Florida.
He did. Jack
If they'd
Harris's
had-
column. I read it today. Jack Harris's column about how they kind of were set and expected him to take the job at Florida.
Yeah, if they'd had cell phones, he probably would have been.
Yeah.
They
Amazing.
no cell phone when they unable to reach him, and he took that as a slight from the University of Florida that they didn't get in touch with him.
Well,
North Carolina State, Franz, the Bucky twins.
Oh heavens, yes, Dave and
Bucky
Don,
twins, yeah.
and Stan Fritz, Charlie Young, and who is the other guy? Willie Burton, the three running backs.
Willie Burton was a good player.
Yes,
I was working in North Carolina,
You were at Greensboro,
Greensboro. Yeah,
working for Mr. Smith.
Mr. Smith Barrier changed my life and
Yes,
hired
he-
me.
Yeah, he
one of the
was-
great names ever about him is Smith of Barry. I always loved that name, although I didn't know him. I loved it.
I was fortunate to be there at that time, and I was there at the 1974 ACC championship game, which I still think is the greatest college basketball game ever played. 103-100 North Carolina State over Maryland, and then 2 weeks later, NC State Norm Sloan beat UCLA in overtime in the semifinals, and then beat Al McGuire and Marquette in the finals.
Yeah.
Let me do this, guys, real fast, and I'm going to bring in, and I know Tony's got to go pretty quick. I just want to tell you about a chance to be a part of Gator history. Go to Florida Legends, FLLegends.com for tickets to this event. It's going to be terrific. They're going to have all three Heisman Trophy winners. The statues come alive, and they have this tremendous event. Two of them on the 30th. You mark them down at Spurger's Gridiron Grill. They have this remarkable thing where you can catch a touchdown pass from Tim Tebow or Danny Werfel. Take a handoff from Steve Spurrier. I guess he's not throwing it. So join the Florida Legends experience on Monday, March 30th at the Alachua County Sports and Events Center. Receive a personal video of your touchdown. Take home a football signed by the Gator Legends. Enjoy an unforgettable day of Gator greatness while supporting Isaiah 117 House. It's a great deal. They do this for kids. And it's wonderful. Tickets are limited. Get your tickets now at FLLegends.com. I'll put that up online so you know if you're interested. And then we'll bring Loren Meadows in here, and we'll switch the subject for a second. And Tony will keep you 5 more minutes and let you go. But we don't get these brilliant people together all at one time. So let's just we do that right now. They're bringing our friend Loren Meadows and see what Coach Meadows is up to. He's been busy. Friends, we haven't seen him for a while. He's cheating on us. He's got somebody else, I think. I don't know. We'll
I
see what
haven't seen him. That's for darn sure.
I know. Well, here he is right here. Say hello.
Texted him a couple times, but that's about it.
Hey, we had a little discussion, friends, but the man got your boy working, man. It's a rough go. So the day job keeps me popping. I'm headed out again this weekend to the great city of Austin. So we'll see what's happening there for the next few days.
I got a question.
Say hello to Tony Barnhart. He's got to go in a minute. And
good to see you again, sir. Much respect.
Good
Always.
to see you. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
I got a quick question for you.
Yes, sir.
Does the head coach of the Florida women's basketball team survive?
I think she
another
does.
year?
I think she does. I think that there's some things in place from a fundraising standpoint that I think are headed in the right direction. And I think that when you really examine this basketball program, it's probably as relevant as it's ever been. And these are players that she's brought in, because of her and what they've been able to do. And you and I both know, friends, we talked about it. I think they're, robbing Peter to pay Paul sometime with that program, no matter what, Scott Strickland says. So, yeah, I think that she's got 1 year left on her contract. I think they'll give her this year. She got 2 more McDonald's All-Americans coming in. I think it is a destination place for transfers. So I think they'll have a little bit more money to maybe up the ante on the transfers. And it's one of the youngest rosters in the SEC, if not the country. So I think that they still then they got 1 more year. I mean, they're about 4 or 5 bad plays from being a 20-win basketball team. So I think that I think that means something. And, it's a juggernaut, man. That SEC is rough, man.
Yeah,
So,
thank you for that. I'm going to
yeah.
just real quick say goodnight to Tony. And I've got sitting in the wings Rob Brown. We're going to finish up some basketball. Tony, we can't wait to hear about the book. Thanks for being on the program. And we'll be talking to you again. You ain't retiring for 10 more years at least, I know of. So,
all right, guys. Good to see you. Take care.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Tony.
I miss your columns. That's all I can tell you.
All right. Thank you. Yeah. So let's, well, where do we go here? Franz, there you are. There he is. All right. Let's do this. I want to tell you about Meldon Law. While I go and get my friend Rob Brown, SEC Sidelines, Meldon Law, you know about him. Jeffrey's on the plane right now he's in Atlanta going tomorrow to Lexington with the team. He'll be at the basketball game rooting on his Florida Gators. He does love him with Todd, that's for sure. And Todd Golden is having quite the year, and maybe it's a mystery why he's not going to be, or apparently has not a lot of people rooting for him to be coach of the year in the SEC. Hey, Rob, say hello to everybody. Todd Golden's not the SEC coach of the year? Are you kidding me?
Well, you know how it is. They guys like underdogs, and they're going to go try to find some nobody, and that's what they're going to do. But I think he's done a hell of a job, and he did lose some players. I mean, Denzel Aberdeen's at Kentucky, Walter Clayton's with the Grizzlies, and Hawk came back, but he. Why is he not coach of the year? The only other coach you could say is Dennis Gates at Missouri.
No, Byington.
I mean, I'm saying that's the only one. They were 0-18 2 years ago.
Mike Byington. I think they're going to decide between Mike Byington and Buckyball, and I think they'll make a mistake if they don't choose.
Are you kidding me? Get serious. I mean, just extol again, if you will, what they've done and the margins they've won by now in the last few games. The numbers they're putting up, and then they don't have Thomas Howell. They change the lineup, and then Handglow has a remarkable. And by the way, can Condon get any better? I mean, 26 career high. I mean, this team is just smoking, Loren, right now. They're smoking. They're just red hot. And they keep getting better. Now, yeah. I hope they didn't peak too soon.
Well, I mean, last year he should have been coach of the year. And this year, like Rob mentioned, you lose Denzel Aberdeen, basically your sixth man, seventh man off the bench. You lose three guys to the NBA. You get out the gate a little slow and everybody's having a heart attack and we telling everybody to relax. Then you right the ship. And right now, throughout probably since January, Franz, basically since Missouri lost and that one little flip up against Auburn, they've been the best team in the country. I mean, consistently, I think in a one game situation, I might take Arizona, but you got a team that's built to win 6 games and make it to Indianapolis. So, yeah, I mean, at some point in time, you got to get off the people that are getting the accolades and give this guy his due. Especially in the SEC. If he's not coach of the year in the SEC, I don't understand because, I mean, Buzz was just as effective as Buckyball, so it's not an improvement there. I mean, that's all, fluff. I mean, it's time, man. I mean, he is the best coach in the SEC right now.
I think he's the best coach in America, right?
He might be. You might be right, friends, but I'm just saying definitely in the SEC.
I'll tell you guys this. They lost to Arizona. They lost to Duke and they lost to UConn by a total of 11 points. Mm-hmm. Florida's 11 points better than they were when they played any one of those 3 teams. Agreed. I don't think those teams are 11 points, each one better than where they were when they played Florida.
If I could just say this, you have a really good column this morning, friends, outlining that whole thing about why what you just said is true. And I love how you just laid it out there. And you read it. I don't care who you are. I mean, Rob's not a Gator fan. I mean, my God, she's got enough to worry about at Auburn. What a disaster that's
I don't worry about him anymore. It's called apathy.
I'm sorry, man. I thought they were really good. They beat Florida. But you know what? That's the best loss Florida's had in basketball in a long time, Franz.
Yeah. Oh, it was a very difficult loss. And I'll say this. Don't count Auburn out for making the NCAA. Don't count them out.
They have
beat
no
out
business. No
if they-
business making the
Oh,
tournament.
I don't disagree with it. They have no business. But what I'm going to tell you is, people on that committee, if they beat Alabama Saturday and then get to Friday at the SEC, they'll be in the NCAA tournament, and they could win a game.
Yeah.
Stephen's a good coach. It's just he inherited a situation with 11 new ball players.
Yeah.
And I don't care who you are. That's a tough one. Todd Golden went 16-17 his first year. So stuff happens when you're the new kid on the block.
But he's also won 101 games in his first 4 years. Todd Golden, I'm not saying it to placate anybody. I always say that, but he's just Buddy's right. When they do a coach of the year, and you said it, Loren, Buckyball, it's a jump ball from what Buzz Williams did.
Right.
What, they're no better.
Not all. And I don't think they defend. I think they defend worse than they did. I mean, actually, it's just run and jump. And you get a good, you get a team that good point guard and calm. I mean, you saw what's been happening the last half of the conference season. I will say this. Well, it's your show, buddy. I was going to say something on one of the comments just because I ain't.
Go ahead. I'm going to put it this separate right now.
Well, how come none of us have talked about Sumrall having the same record as Napier? Are you fellas afraid to address it? Afraid, but I don't know. I mean, what are we addressing?
What record? You didn't have a record yet. How can you say that?
But what are we addressing?
He's talking about the record coming in as the head coach.
Well, I thought Napier. I thought Napier. I mean, yeah. What I mean.
Hey, these are called eyes, okay, and these are called ears. You watch, you listen, and you learn something. There's anybody who's got an ounce of sense who's met this guy or knows about him will tell you there is miles of universe apart between those two guys.
Yeah.
And we talked to him yesterday for 25 minutes. Friends, I got to tell you, it was amazing 25 minutes. And you compare that to, we never did talk to Napier. There is just no comparison. It's night and day. You watch what happens, folks. A little common sense out there.
Well, he gets it, number one, because he sat down with you. I mean, first of all, he gets it. He sat down with you and Franz, two of the best writers that the Florida beat has ever seen. And I know Franz is going to go into detail about it, but I mean, I guess my question is, what being afraid of what is my question. That's what are we afraid of, Franz? I guess that's
exactly. Can you see this comment down here?
Well, I put it there for you guys to respond to that.
I guess this guy didn't see 2,000 students sleeping in the rain outside covered up by plastic so they could get in. I guess he hasn't seen the fact that a game we knew we're going to win against Mississippi State. We've already clinched the SEC. The line went from outside the O-Dome, wrapped around past the practice facility, and all the way down to the tennis court.
Well, what about San Antonio last year, Franz? I mean, people standing at the parking lot climbing, damn near about to kill themselves just to get a look at the team getting on the buses. You were there. I mean, it was crazy.
And what we have, like 10 straight sellout crowds. I mean, heavens. No, we don't like basketball at UF. Come on, guy.
Everything's cool, y'all.
Throw a pair.
Some people who have these pot shot comments from afar, they're all experts. They didn't know a damn thing. They had never been seen at the games. They talked to a guy who's been covered basketball for 1 million years, who knows the team intimately, watches every game. He's been right about everything he said. And you're going to tell him that nobody cares about basketball and the students don't care about basketball? I'm sorry. I must be going to the wrong movies.
Yeah. They were happy as pie that Florida was in the championship game last year. The NCAA couldn't have had it any other way because they turned out.
We're going to have Selection Sunday, which is 2 weeks from this Sunday. It's going to be really interesting to see, because for all the talk about the Big Ten and people talking about, Rob, I've made the comment on your show, there's 18 schools in the Big Ten, and 42 of them will be selected for the NCAA tournament.
Well, it's a week from Sunday, Franz. It's March 15th is Selection Sunday.
Yeah.
That's right. It is.
Yes, it's. I mean, it. I can't. It's 81 degrees in Memphis today. Where did the winter
heat's
go?
getting to me,
Yeah,
guys.
it's coming. Yeah.
But Selection Sunday, the SEC, I promise you, from top to bottom of the league, is a better league than the Big Ten. Just like SEC football this year, if you go top to bottom of the league, was a better league than the Big Ten. The difference is this year the Big Ten's got 3 really exceptional teams at the top. The SEC has 1 exceptional team at the top.
Maybe we're all too close to it. You know, we're there and we covered it and see and what have you. And we follow it and we root for them. Rob's a little bit more arm's length. By the way, Rob was soon going to start up our Panhandle Gatorbait show again soon with our new friend here, Mr. Wilson. And you and I will be on there. He's an Auburn guy, by the way. So actually, he's an Alabama guy. I'm sorry. Okay. So we'll be talking about that. But you go ahead and comment, Rob, from a more global perspective. And what are people saying about Florida basketball, number 1 and number 2, Coach Sumrall?
Well, start with Florida basketball. Florida is an everything school. Their athletic department's won 268 SEC championships, which is over 100 more than the all-time second best athletic program. That's Georgia. So they'll support anything. And we talk with a lot of people that know basketball. No 2 better writers on college basketball that we have than Franz and Kevin Skarbinski. And they'll tell you, Franz pointed it out last year. Florida's got those 5 or 6 big guys that are effective. They're not just taking up space. They run up and down the court. They're coordinated.
I think we lost Rob for a second there. Franz, a good point for you to jump in and tell them about the book.
Well, okay, the book is out. It's called The Golden Season.
Yeah, there it is.
There's a copy of it. Last year, my account of the run to the national championship. It's not just I got more than just the basketball in there. I got the personal part of it, and I've had a number of people who came up to me and who've told me basically the same thing, that this championship was very personal to them because, like me, they weren't sure we'd ever win another one after Billy Donovan left.
The mulligan.
And people thought, well, I don't know if we'll ever win another one. So, and when you're like me, I was 73 years old last year when it happened. I mean, I'm darn sure thinking, oh gosh, we may not win another one in my lifetime, but we got one. And now they got a chance to chase a little bit of history. UCLA is the only school in history that has ever had 2 repeat championships. They had the 2 in 64, 65, then they had the 7 straight. No other school that's won back-to-back championships has ever come back and won back-to-back again. Florida's got a chance to make some history with that. That's not bad.
Yeah.
It's going to be a fun
my
mark.
former boss, Gene Klaus, who played for UD that one year they played UCLA too. So he was on that team.
With Donnie May.
The
lefty.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. Yeah.
Dayton's own Donnie May.
You know, guys, I look at this team and they've got a real shot at running this table. I personally believe the toughest game they may have until they get to the Final Four would be this weekend at Rupp, simply because senior day at Rupp, stuff happens. I've seen it too many times. But here's the thing, and I'll ask you guys this question. If Florida beats Kentucky at Rupp and gives them a beatdown like they've been doing with people, are they going to call a conclave, wait for, to hire a new pope, and we'll see 3 puffs of smoke coming up?
They might. I mean, and let me say, I don't know, my wife was trying to reprogram a TV and knocked me off for a second. But
we got about a minute. Go ahead.
John Sumrall is the guy everybody else wanted. I've been telling you, I'm friends with John Hartwell, who's known him.
You said it. You said it for a long time.
And look, he's going out and he's met Loren, he's met Franz, he's met y'all. He did a sit down. It's a great piece, great interview. So yeah, what people are saying on the outside is Florida's starting to get that thing rolling again.
Sure feels that way. Speaking of rolling,
you got to line up, but go ahead. You still got to line up. But go ahead, buddy. I'm sorry.
I just got to get this in on the Florida Legends about I want to play this spot real fast for you folks who might not know about it.
Ever dreamed of catching a touchdown pass from Tim Tebow or Danny Werfel, or taking a handoff from the legendary Steve Spurrier? Then you need to join the Florida Legends experience on Monday, March 30th at the Alachua County at Celebration Point. You'll receive a personal video of your touchdown and a football signed by the Gator Legends. Enjoy an unforgettable day of Gator greatness while supporting the incredible mission of Isaiah 117 House. Tickets are limited. Get yours now at fllegends.com. That's fllegends.com. Don't miss your chance to be a part of Gator history.
There you go. It's the 30th of March. There you see it, FloridaLegends.com. I want to get that in. And you guys, he's got about 15 or 20 seconds to go now. March Madness. Who wants to go first? Loren?
Just enjoy the last few weekends. I think it's going to be great to watch the Florida Gator basketball team. I think they go to Rump and get it done just because they're a better basketball team. I think I told Rob on Tuesday night, I think they went out through the SEC tournament because that's part of the process, repeat champs there. And I think they make a run at it. Like I said at the beginning of the season, if they're not a second weekend team, basically playing for a chance to go to the Indianapolis in the Elite Eight, I'd be shocked.
Rob?
Don't be afraid to call it great when you see it. Too many people are bashful. Todd Golden is a special kind of coach. Enjoy it. Billy Donovan talked about it. Enjoy it. Y'all all know this. Enjoy it. This is an incredible era.
And Franz, final thought.
First weekend is going to be in Tampa, so just get ready for weekend number 2.
All right, sounds good to me. Thanks, Franz Beard. Appreciate it. Don't go buy his book. Go to Spurs.com shop. Get yourself a copy of The Golden Season. You'll be glad you did. All right, folks. Thank you, Franz. We'll wind it up by saying Titan MRI. I want to thank those folks. 3 locations to serve you, 2 in Gainesville, and now hopefully one to go into Ocala soon. Millennium Center and the one in Lake City serving all of Columbia County. Valdosta, Titan MRI Imaging offers the same great customer service, accept insurance through their convenient self-pay options. So check them out. There's an option for you. Coming to Ocala soon, hopefully. Titan MRI. All right, folks, have a good night. Appreciate you listening. Thanks to our great guest tonight and for a nice visit. Hope you enjoyed the program. We'll be out for a bit and be back soon over the weekend. Probably have a pop-up show. Take care, folks. Good night.